Doug Green, DJ Jarvis are here. The two creators, or two of them anyway, for fantasy's sake.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Week 13 edition of For Fantasy's Sake, presented by Clints Drafthouse, alongside Joe Winkle and Brian Craighead. I'm Nick Brinks, and you'll notice that none of us are DJ or Doug. Apparently, this is the first ever podcast, or for, I guess, the For Fantasy's Sake podcast without any of the founding members. So let's see if we can't keep this train on the rails, boys. How we doing today?
I'm doing good today, Nick. I think we'll be okay. We missed both Doug and DJ, but we'll do our absolute best.
We're gonna show today that we don't need them. I'm kidding, but we'll be great.
Let's talk a little fantasy Tinder here in just a minute. 2 weeks to go in the regular season in most leagues. I know the two leagues that I run, we're down to the last 2 weeks of the regular season, and we've got dogfights on our hands. Some people are. In one of the leagues, I'm fortunate enough to be pretty much locked into a first-round bye. I'm feeling good. I'm drinking mojitos on the beach today. Not worried too much about how that league's going to play out. My other league, I'm in a dogfight for the final playoff spot. A little nervous. We'll see how things go. 3rd through 9th are separated by just one game. It is a mess. I'm hoping that guys like Damian Pierce can come up big for me today, because they haven't the last 2 weeks, which has put me in this bind. How about you guys? Where are you feeling, or how are you feeling going into your last couple of weeks of the regular season in your leagues? Anything stick out to you?
My two leagues that I care about the most, both of them I have playoff spots locked up. We're just kind of battling for seeding. If I can win in my one with all my with all my friends for Pride, if we win today and we get a loss from somebody, we'll get the divisional win, which will be nice. And then if we get a win and a loss from somebody, we should be able to get a first round bye, because it's 6 teams that make it. But both of my playoff leagues start, I believe, next week. So the one league that I know that I have with just the friends for Pride, we end up having it'll end week 17. So it'll be it's 4 teams that make it, 2 weeks for each round. So we don't have to worry about any week 18 stuff. So, yeah, we're down to the nitty gritty.
Good leagues do not play week 18. That's for sure.
That's what they say anyway. So I guess that means we're a good league.
As for me, it's been an unusual year. I'm in 13 leagues, pretty much in the playoffs, and at least 10 of those. But my league that I really care most about, we have what's called a breakdown record, which basically there's 12 teams in the league. So each week you would play 11 teams theoretically. But unfortunately, the breakdown's only used for playoff ties and tiebreakers and stuff like that. I'm 5-7, but second in breakdown record. So theoretically, my record ought to be much better than it is. But the fat lady hasn't sung yet. So we're still trying. But all in all, it's not been a bad year. And I'm still in Scott Fishbowl, so I'm happy with that.
Well, there you go. That's enough about us. Let's talk about some of the players that we're liking or not liking here down the stretch. A little fantasy football Tinder. We're going to swipe left if we're going to say no or pass on them. Swipe right if either you like it or you need a little more time to think about it and you want to come back later and maybe see if they matched up with you. But let's start He hasn't played in, 2 years? Deshaun Watson, are we putting him in our lineups this week?
I'm personally swiping right tentatively. It all really depends on who you've got available. Like in one league, I've got Kyler Murray on bye. My other alternative would be Kenny Pickett, and I'm going with Watson over Pickett, at least as of 10 o'clock this morning. And then in another league, I've got him with Geno Smith. I'm going with Geno. So it really just depends on who you've got and your comfort level. But I think he'll be okay. I don't expect a great performance.
Yeah, I think it'll be rusty to start, but there's also a world where he lights the world on fire. This is this old swipe right. This is the old super listen, people hate him, whatever. But at the end of the day, when he's on, he's one of the 5 best quarterbacks alive, and he's proven that. My thing personally, because I have him in a league, like the league that we run 2 quarterbacks. I drafted him and stashed him and perfectly navigated to keep him just for the playoff push. So my 2 quarterbacks for the playoff push are Mahomes and Watson, and boy, oh boy, that can work out really well. So the thing with that is, like, if you're in like a super flex league or something and you've got him, absolutely. If it's a 1 quarterback league and you've already got like a Allen or a Mahomes or Tua or even a Justin Fields who's hot, then you don't have to. But if that's a spot where there's no reason not to try it. Because there's a world that exists where he's still that guy, and that's probably more likely than not the case. People just don't want to admit it. He's got the goods, guys.
Yeah, I know. I feel like a lot of people drafted him early, or maybe didn't draft him, but they've picked him up at some point throughout the season if they were fortunate enough to, get him after the draft. But teams were hoping, let's just get to the playoffs, and then we can roll out Deshaun Watson then and hope for the best. And actually, that's kind of what the Browns are doing too. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But if I've got him and the quarterback I don't trust, absolutely, I'd feel comfortable starting him. And again, not only is it kind of a revenge game against the Texans, but that Texans defense, not very good. So if you could ask for a more generous matchup for your first game back, I don't know if you'd pick anybody but the Texans.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Perfect example I would have and question I would have for both of y'all. So in a 1 quarterback league, we've got Watson on our team, Rodgers on waivers. Are we going Rodgers or are we going Watson?
You would think Watson
defense, yeah.
I would,
yeah, that's.
You would think Watson, just because Rodgers might not, he shouldn't be starting. He's hurt. Like, I know they're playing the Bears today, but if he gets one A-gap delayed blitz and they don't pick it up and he gets drilled, I mean, like, he's gonna be done, man. Like,
and the Bears are gonna be gunning for it.
Yeah, the Bears are gonna bring everything after him.
There's nobody they would rather sack hard than Aaron Rodgers.
By the way, the 12 o'clock slate today is so much more watchable because Justin Fields is playing, and that. So yeah, I think that's a great question. That is a great question, though, Brian. That's a great question.
I think that's the kind of tier quarterbacks you're looking at on a Watson decision. So,
Joe, you weren't looking forward to a Jordan Love, Trevor Siemian contest today?
I would have been excited to see Love play, but
yeah,
Rodgers is playing, right?
I wanted Siemian, but
yeah, as far as I know, Rodgers is in.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, he is.
It makes no sense, but whatever.
For those watching on the stream today, I'm totally getting Wilson vibes off of Home Improvement from Brian today, covered up by that helmet down there.
Well, exactly. Yeah, right, guys.
There you go.
I just listen. Don't blame me.
No, you're good. You're good.
Brian's on the handheld, so it can get a little wavy, and that's okay, man. I'm just gonna make so he knows that I feel like him too. I'm gonna start walking around with the laptop in the hand. We're just gonna get like this. We're just gonna look at the duck all day.
There you go. All right. How about we move on to George Kittle? George Kittle is back and is a must start. Swipe left, swipe right.
Swipe right. Have you seen the tight end world we live in? If you've got him, man, you're living pretty good. I'll keep this short and sweet. Swipe right. It's thin out. It's hard out here if you're playing tight ends, man.
Yeah, it's a swipe right. I'm right there with Joe. It's one of those things that in one tight end leagues where we all have to start a tight end. I mean, you've got to think Kittle's top 5 at least. So yeah, of course he's swipe right.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy one on the list for us here today. Let's move on to DJ Moore. He is a must-start wide receiver with Sam Darnold back under center for the first time this year.
I'm swiping left with a big time swipe. Being honest, Sam Darnold really they just need to draft a quarterback or get somebody real.
Sam Darnold's not
DJ
real.
Moore I'm okay with him, but he's not a must start and definitely doesn't get improvement necessarily from Darnold.
Yeah. Were Moore's numbers pretty good last week? I didn't really.
He got 19 points, 100 yards, and a touchdown on 4 catches, 6 targets.
Yeah, it could be a thing where he actually gets force fed. I don't know, because last year's numbers with Darnold weren't great. So I would swipe left just because there's probably better options out there.
And back in week 7 and week 8, he put up 16 and 25 when he went for 69 and a touchdown, 152 and a touchdown. And then he followed that up the next 3 weeks with 24 yards, 29 yards, 24 yards. And that was not Sam Darnold. So I just don't see any consistency there.
Yep.
Whether it's Darnold or whoever it is, next week, maybe they'll get a 4th quarterback.
Yeah, you're spinning the old Russian roulette wheel when you're trying to figure out if you want to start DJ Moore or not.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion if you're relying on DJ Moore at this point in the season, you're probably just trying to avoid the last place punishment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or as we call it in our league, the Harambe Trophy.
Side note: do any of your leagues do anything crazy or fun for last place finishers? The one that I kind of really want to implement that I hear about all the time is forcing that person to take the ACT with a bunch of high schoolers. I don't know why that appeals so much to me, but that just sounds incredible.
That's funny. So we made this crazy trophy with the gorilla mask and called it the Harambe as our last place trophy. And we decked it out. So that's kind of our thing. But yeah, that's funny. ACT, that's good.
Bunch of 30-plus-year-old dudes just. What are you here for? I suck at fantasy football. I'm just trying to get into the off season here. How about you, Brian? Anything?
We don't do much. The Waffle House looks pretty interesting thing, but we don't really have any punishments in our leagues.
I heard that's a thing. 20, you have to have 24 waffles in 24 hours, and you're sitting in the Waffle House until you either eat 24 waffles or
something like that. Yeah, I forget all the details, but people have spent 6 to 8 plus hours in the Waffle House.
It's I think
it deducts an hour for every waffle you eat.
Yeah.
If you eat 8, you're there for 16 hours.
Yeah, my league of record, we've been together 20 plus years, and so it's embarrassing enough to not do well. We'll just pick on them all day long, so they don't need additional punishment.
We'll move on in our fantasy football Tinder here. Let's talk QB letdowns. Kyler Murray, QB1 in that category.
That's a really tough one for me. I'm going to swipe left. I mean, let's be honest. Outside of the top 3 quarterbacks being Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen, and Hurts, but in a less traditional type way, is there any quarterback that's been that dominant to begin with? So I'm going to swipe left. I'm sure I can come up with somebody else that I'd put up there with Kyler.
I'm swiping left myself. I don't think it's hard to look past someone like Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Yep.
Not just in fantasy, but in real life. What a dumpster fire that has been.
Mr. Unlimited.
Let's ride.
Yeah, swipe left. Kyler's been bad, but he hasn't been the worst.
He's top 10 in scoring. I mean, sure, you might have expected some more top side, but he's serviceable for you. Maybe not getting you quite the points where you drafted him, but could be worse. I'd agree with that.
He's been more of a real life letdown than a fantasy letdown. It's just God, we paid this dude to. Why Cardinals? Why are you the way you are? So yeah, swipe left. The Russell Wilson's the obvious answer. If anyone had any faith in Baker Mayfield, that that was a disaster. Aaron Rodgers for most of the year has been a fantasy disaster. So
Yeah, the guy's ranked just ahead of Russell Wilson. Rodgers and Brady aren't too far ahead, and everybody behind him, I don't think anybody would expect any of these guys to be up there. Dak's down there, but he missed a bunch of time, so obviously he doesn't count there. I don't take injuries into account when you're talking disappointment. That's just bad luck. Sure, whatever. But now, somebody that had a huge game last week, it actually flipped a matchup with his overtime run in my league last week, and it actually put a guy in the playoffs as of right now because of that 14-point play for Josh Jacobs in overtime to go from 34 points to 48 points. Josh Jacobs is going to win somebody a league this year. Swipe left, swipe right.
I'm gonna swipe right just because it's possible, right? Like he's RB2 now? Behind who did he behind? Is it there's no way it's Henry.
At least in half PPR in the league that I'm looking at, he's up to RB1.
I said the league I'm in full PPR, he is RB2, so it's not Saquon anymore. So he's got so I'm wondering who it is.
Jacobs, Eckler, Henry, Chubb, Barkley are the top 5 in this particular league with pretty standard settings, except for half PPR.
I keep forgetting about Eckler because they run the dumbest offense, and I keep telling myself Austin Eckler is not that good. But for fantasy purposes, Austin Eckler is literally Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, swipe right. Jacobs is a dog, and what they've been doing has been great. They've committed to the run, and he's been really, really good. And last week he was legendary. Good on him. He could very well win someone a league, especially if you've got him as like a random flex that you're throwing in there. He's that type of guy that you just didn't expect, that you stole in some mid-round.
How about Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Jacobs can win some leagues. He was drafted kind of late for running back, and he's actually very much potentially be the RB1 or certainly top 5. So, yeah, definitely a potential league winner.
Yeah, and at least for the guy in my league, even if he's not going to win a league, he might win you some money with just that performance alone last week because he's not doing so hot points-wise, this guy, but that was enough to give him an extra win, and now he's in the playoff hunt when he would be probably down around 8th or 9th. So maybe not a league winner for him, but if it gets him in the playoffs, you get a dance another day. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's fantasy football Tinder for week 13. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more of the For Fantasy's Sake podcast presented by Clints Drafthouse.
This episode is brought to you by Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill in Moline and Davenport. Chase away your Sunday scaries at Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill this season. Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sunday, there's no better place to be. Clints is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And is your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games? Well, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City style pop pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clints part of your Sunday football routine. Clints Drafthouse Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. And also, Clint is now serving up their famous pizza and fried chicken on the Iowa side of the river as well. Clint's Pizza House and Chicken opens up daily at 4 p.m. so everyone in the Quad Cities can enjoy their QC-style pizza and Henny Penny fried chicken. That's Clint Pizza House and Chicken, 7th Street Moline, and 1601 West 3rd Street in Davenport. This episode is brought to you by the Corner Tap. Who doesn't need a solid handcuff on their fantasy squad? Grab a bite to eat at Clint's Drafthouse while watching the noon games, and then head on over across the Moline-Rock Island border to the Corner Tap for some libations during the 3 o'clock games. Every Sunday is fun day at the Corner Tap with $3 tall boys, Bloody Marys, Jack Daniels, and $2 PBR drafts. Head into the corner tap, 4018 14th Avenue, Rock Island, and get into the end zone.
And we are back. We're going to take a look at a little Would You Rather here in just a little bit. But before we do that, Toys for Tots Week 2 leaders. None of us are in this league, so we don't necessarily know all the details, what's going on here. But we'll give you what we know.
Also,
oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say also, listener questions, we'll obviously still get to those. We were going to have those all pulled up, comments during the show on any platform. We will have those throughout the show, and then obviously the listener questions at the end. So get those submitted for our last segment of the day.
All right, thank you. So in the Toys for Tots League, top scoring player last week, Jordan Rangel of the Jarvis division with a big 212 week, 212. And the top scoring celebrity was Jay Kidwell with a 169.86.
Shout out to Jay Kidwell. How did DJ get a freaking division named after him?
That is a good question.
I don't know.
There's a Winkle division in our leagues.
Yeah, there should be.
Okay, rest of schedule. A little, I don't know. We'll call it Would You Rather. We'll take a look at quarterback, running back, receiver, and the wasteland that is tight end. We'll begin with quarterback. Rest of schedule, rest of season. Who would you rather have? Marcus Mariota or Daniel Jones?
I'm personally going to go with Daniel Jones. He has a little bit more passing volume than Mariota. So, and also I kind of question if Atlanta's ever going to go the Desmond Ridder experience. I wouldn't be surprised. It kind of just depends on how much longer they stay in the race.
They might not, though. That's the thing. They're going to be in. If the Bucs keep tripping over their own, you know what, as they say, the Falcons are going to be in the NFC South race until the gun.
Yeah, they very well could be. I'll be interested as a Steelers fan. I'll be interested to see what the Falcons do today.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. I'm gonna say DJ too, just because of the same thing for a degree. I'll be correct. I'll do some Chris stuff, and I'll agree with Brian. Because I feel like someone has to. That's instead of since Chris isn't here, I'll do it. The Mariota stuff, it's hard to trust it. And DJ, you got to feel, at least here's the thing. In most of these games throughout the year, I think the Giants might be trailing. So you're going to have to worry. You're going to have the possibility of DJ throwing them back into games. It's one of those, it's not the greatest situation, but he's the lesser of two evils.
If you have a Marcus Mariota or a Daniel Jones as your quarterback, but you've been stashing Deshaun Watson all season, you're probably like, thank God I did that. Hopefully Deshaun can carry me to the promised land.
Welcome back, MJ.
Okay, we move on to running back. And this one, we've got, I think, two much better candidates than the quarterback question. Aaron Jones or Jeff Wilson Jr.? Rest of schedule.
I'm personally going to stay with Aaron Jones. He's been a top 10 all season. I know part of this question has to do with the fact that the Packers are finding themselves quickly out of the playoff race, and will they give less carries to Aaron Jones? But they still want to win, whether they're in the race or not. Jeff Wilson, I don't know. He's still going to have to compete with Raheem Mostert for playing time, and Dylan's not been a thing yet. So I'm going with Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Much as I would love Jeff Wilson to have that kind of impact, Aaron Jones will just be used more, especially if they ever pull the trigger on Jordan Love, which they should. That game would be a lot more fun today if Jordan Love was playing, but oh well. Maybe, hey, this could be the last start Rodgers has for Green Bay against the Bears. So why not? Let it rip, right? But yeah, I'd say Aaron Jones. But probably closer than you would think. That's for sure.
We move on to receiver. Chris Olave with Andy Dalton throwing him the football. Or Amari Cooper with Deshaun Watson throwing him the football?
I'm going with Amari Cooper just because it is Deshaun Watson throwing the football. However, I'd be glad to have either one of them on my team. And it hasn't really seemed to bother Olave all year as to who throws in the ball. But I just see the upside for Cooper now.
As someone who's got one of these dudes in each one, like I've got Cooper in one and Olave in my other. I mean, both are great. So I would probably lean Cooper slightly, but oddly enough, even with Andy Dalton, Olave's put up good numbers. By the way, did Jameis blackmail Dennis Allen? Like, did he like sleep with alleged Dennis? Like, can I say that?
Yeah, how bad does Dalton need to be until they try to throw Winston back out there? I agree.
I don't know, man. That's wild to me. Wild.
They say that Winston's been hurt throughout the course of the year and he's still injured. I don't know, though. Like you said, there seems to be something behind the scenes that we don't hear about. So.
He was getting some more of them crab legs, you heard? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to FSU. He's a dog. Got that dog in him.
I like Cooper here as well. Tight end, Cole Kmet or Dawson Knox? Who do you like the rest of the year?
I've got to go with Kmet. There's, especially with Darnell Mooney being out, there's just not a lot of channels for Phils to throw to, and Knox has so many players that he's competing with targets for. So I've got to go Kmet.
They're both touchdown dependent, but you would probably say now that Mooney's gone, Kmet could be less touchdown dependent, right? So he's probably got the slight edge here. Less mouths to feed. They've actually got a connection going. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that one's a pretty easy one myself. Okay, let's move on to this week's QB1, RB1, wide receiver 1, and tight end 1. Who do you believe will be the top quarterback in fantasy this week?
I think QB1. I'm gonna try to have some hipsterish answers here. I think it could be Joe Burrow, and it's not because I think Cincinnati could win, but I think that they could have, like, that game could get nuts, and I think Burrow he could have himself a day.
I totally agree with that choice, but I'm going to, just to be contrarian, I'll go the opposite sideline and go with Mahomes.
Smart bet, brother.
And I'll go contrarian yet. I did it a couple of weeks ago, or I said this on the show last time I was here, which was a couple of weeks ago, and it worked out. He's back. We'll see how healthy he is today. And we saw how Jalen Hurts ran over the defense of Green Bay last week. I'm going to take Justin Fields. Let's go for it.
Yeah, if there was ever a time for him to put up 200 and 200, today would be a hell of a day to do it.
As they fall 31-28 to Green Bay.
Hey, I wouldn't be sad. That's how it worked.
That's the sad thing. I mean, those games where he played so well, they still lost by a field goal or something.
It's fine. When they draft Jalen Carter second overall, who was literally carrying a quarterback yesterday. I don't know if anyone saw that. If you just YouTube right now, Georgia defensive player carries quarterback. Literally, there was a pile. They're trying to sack Jaden Daniels from LSU, and he just bear hugs him and picks him up and then holds his hand in the air like Joe Namath holding the one up. Where's my camera shot? Right there. It was hilarious. Yeah, that guy the Bears are about to draft. But you morons want him to win today. No, stop it.
Running back 1 this week.
I'm going to say that running back 1 and 2 are going to be in the same game. I'm going to go with Austin Eckler and Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. Running back 1's Josh Jacobs because let's bring this in. Have y'all seen the Chargers try to stop the run? Have you?
No.
Good. It's not good. Yeah, exactly, because they don't stop the run.
Exactly.
Josh Jacobs. If he don't hit 25 to 30 today, I'll be shocked.
The one that I'm looking at here, I could see it going a couple ways, but to be contrarian yet, I'm going to go with Nick Chubb just because one Houston defense, and 2, I think they might try to get Deshaun to throw the ball a lot today, get him back to feeling football ready, but it's your first time playing in 2 years, and you've got Nick Chubb in the backfield. Might as well give him as many freaking carries as you can. So I'll take Chubb this week.
I think that the game plan there will be play action, middle of the field, red area. Because Deshaun, there's a chance Deshaun, being out for a while, the red zone stuff with the new guys. You're going to try stuff. Now they on it that the thing that could kill you with Chubb today is in the red zone and in those scoring areas. They just try to use it as practice to get guys acclimated. So they just try to throw the entire Deshaun playbook out there. Which in a game like this where they might win by a lot, they should win by a lot. That might be the smart thing to do. But I wouldn't be shocked, though, too, just so they can guarantee scores, especially against a horrific Texans run defense. They pound the ball with Chubb. So that's where you can get some good cheap points with Chubb. But I think the rest, they're going to use a lot of Deshaun today. But I think in those key spots, short yardage, red zone, goal to go, Chubb could be the man.
And kind of in the same vein you guys mentioned before, Jacobs, Eckler, the other running back in that matchup, needs a bounce-back performance this week. He's been quiet the last couple weeks. Dameon Pierce, and that Browns run defense is not good. So if he's going to step up and get back to some of the stuff he was giving us, a month or two ago, today is the day to do it. I don't think Brandon Cooks is in, and I don't know which quarterback's playing. I haven't looked, but you've got Dameon Pierce. Just let him run free. If for nothing else, do it for me because I need that.
Yeah, Cooks is out, and Kyle Allen's the starter.
Okay, give me some Dameon Pierce. I'm not going to say that he's QB1, but I think he should be much closer to top 12 this week than he has been with his 16 yards the last 2 weeks, at least hopefully. Now we move on to tight end, or let's see here, wide receiver one. I better not skip that one. Who's your wide receiver one for this week?
I'm going to parlay with Joe, but I'm going to go the lesser known half, T. Higgins.
Ooh. Nice. Yeah, I was going to think of like Chase probably. That could be I think borderline huge game. Because some of the top candidates normally are probably going to have some tough weeks. If Tyreek goes nuts, obviously Nick and I are going to be popping some champagne, but that would be a bit shocking. Chase would probably be the safe bet. But Higgins, that's a really good – I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, one thing about Chase, he's playing, but they've also mentioned a potential snap count. Who knows? I think he'll play a good percentage of the game, but, Higgins has been hot the last couple of weeks, so why not?
Yeah, he hasn't been scoring the touchdowns, but, a week ago, their last game was it the Steelers game?
No, they played who'd they play last week?
Oh, they played Tennessee last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he hasn't been
And
scoring.
he scored.
He did have a touchdown last week. 2 weeks ago, He didn't have a score against the Steelers. I remember I took a nap, woke up, I'm like, oh, T doesn't have a score. I thought his game would be bad. Nope, he had 12 catches for 200 yards. I was like, okay, we're still here.
Yeah, exactly. He's been awesome.
Yeah, he's been really good.
I'm going to throw out an oddball here. A.J. Brown going against the Titans. Not great against receivers this year. Titans are a lot better against the running game. And you saw what Higgins did last week. Let's fire up our A.J. Browns in a matchup with his former team.
Nick Sirianni is King Petty. They are absolutely going deep to A.J. Brown in the first game. Or on the first play of the game. And I love it. That's why I love Nick Sirianni.
Tight end one for this week.
This is probably the segment we could pre-record each week. I'm just going to go with Travis Kelce.
Yeah, you just say that, and we just play the Travis Kelce over the. It's him until he gets kidnapped or they tell him the game's in the wrong stadium.
And it's not even intriguing anymore because you don't have Mark Andrews putting up great points every week anymore, and Waller's been a non-factor all season long. Literally,
Zach Ertz is now hurt.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
No
if you look at it, outside of Kittle and Andrews has been nicked, but then Goddard and Waller are both on IR, currently on IR. There's just not a lot of great options.
You know what?
I don't think anybody's going to say Higgins. Hawkinson, but he could be the top 3. So
Heck, it could be Cole Kmet.
Could be.
exactly.
You know, I got one for you. Here could be. Brian's gonna like this. Pat Fryermuth today.
Yep, good old Pat.
He's been good. He's a dog. Yeah, man. Random thought. Nick, you're a NASCAR guy. You remember the old Mike Waltrip commercial?
Oh God, yeah, that's what I was thinking when you said that before.
I'm at the wrong track.
Yeah, this feels like Memorex for sure.
Well, there you go. There are our choices for QB, RB, WR, and tight end ones this week. We'll take another quick break, and we'll be back with some daily fantasy. We'll fire up our Brian Craig heads when we come back with the For Fantasy Sake podcast presented by Clints Drafthouse.
Today's episode is brought to you by Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar in Rock Island. It's the place to be every Sunday this football season. Barbecue Chris will be in the house every week smoking the place up with his amazing menu or mouth-watering barbecues. Cavies will have every game on inside and outside their numerous TV screens. Plus, you can play their adult video games, and they have the loosest slots around. Check out Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island. With baseball playoffs right around the corner, over a month away, and the NFL and college football seasons right on our tail, it's the perfect time of year to get your daily fantasy sports life in order. For Frequency's Sake has you covered every single week. Tune in to For Frequency's Sake's DFS Deep Dive on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch every Friday evening, and uploaded every Saturday morning on your favorite podcast platform, where Brian and the boys will be giving you the best daily fantasy sports advice for each and every week to help you fatten your wallet this season. Again, on every Friday night live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and of course uploaded on your favorite podcast platform on Saturday mornings. DFS advice, DFS Deep Dive here on the For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network. In addition to bringing fire on the mic, the team at For Frequency's Sake is still bringing it online as well. Check out ForFantasySakeQC.com this season for college DFS, Survivor League, and betting advice each and every week of this football season. Again, that is ForFantasySakeQC.com for college DFS, Survivor League, and betting advice each week during the football season.
Okay, we're back to talk a little daily fantasy. Brian is our DFS guru. And during this segment, we usually like to talk about maybe a stack that we like, maybe some good value, or, you know, who do you start at tight end if you don't want to put Travis Kelce in there? So, Brian, anything jump out at you this week in daily fantasy land?
I've kind of foreshadowed part of my thought process. The stack for the week is going to be Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler, with a comeback of Josh Jacobs and finding value elsewhere. So that's one of my stacks. Another stack that I really like also is going to be Trevor Lawrence, and you can either go with Zay Jones or Christian Kirk. I like them both. Jones is questionable, but I think he plays, and his value at 4,900 is really great. So those are my kind of couple of stacks.
Zay Jones was just upgraded to active. I just got the ping because I have him in one of my leagues.
Zay Jones was?
Yep.
Yeah, I figured he'd play. It didn't look like he was out, but they didn't mark him questionable. And for value, it's kind of a little odd, but I'm liking some Jets players today. Definitely think Garrett Wilson's underpriced. Zonovan Knight is another name I'd look for. I think that Michael Carter's going to be out, so definitely looking at Zonovan Knight for value, and also Conklin at tight end.
I like Knight there. I think I saw that Carter is out, but I don't have confirmation on that. I thought I saw that this morning. But
that would make sense.
Knight.
He was doubtful, so I mean, I'm pretty sure he'd be out. So
yeah, I know another running back that I've got my eye on, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. Again, I didn't think he's actually going to be RB1 this week, but his value, he's outside the top 20 in highest prices now. and he gets to run against the Browns defense. It's his chance. If he's going to have any hope the rest of the season for a fantasy, for us fantasy players, can we feel comfortable starting Dameon Pierce going forward? Today is the day where he has to tell us yes or no, and I'll give him a chance today against Cleveland at 5,900.
Nick's like that desperate person trying to save a relationship. Please tell me what I gotta do to save Damien. I need Damien.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit. The Browns have been awful against the run, so definitely don't mind that.
Smart play. I mean, I think that's a good one. Anything? Trying to think. So obviously the Chiefs Bengals game. What about some running back stacks in that Titans Eagles game? You could stack Derrick Henry today. They're going against that horrendous, as of late, Eagles run defense. The Eagles run the ball on everybody. So you could do so, or if you feel good about AJ Brown, you could do the old Henry AJ Brown stack. Those are probably some good ones too, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, no, those are both good plays. Of course, as we both know, they're high in price. You really got to find some value plays. And one area I always look to save money at is defense. And there's a defense, and this sounds homer, but that's okay. I think my Steelers at 2,700 is a real value pick right here. So I'd be more than willing to take them as my defense. And like I said, you can find some value. I never go to the most expensive tight end, so I think there's some value with Conklin at tight end and a couple of other options. If another name to throw out there in that Browns game is Harrison Bryant. I think that's his first name, right?
Yeah, Harrison Bryant.
So I think at 2,700, he's a heck of a value at tight end. And Njoku's out, so Bryant provides some value in that game.
Yeah, I forgot that was a thing. So yeah, without Njoku, that definitely opens that up a bit. What are some other ones that any other like deep cut value plays? I like your thing on the Steelers defense. It's been good and you can get low value on it. What about like another defense like Washington? That's probably some good value.
Yeah, Washington. I have Washington as a play. Washington is a little more pricey. I think they're at 3,300. It's hard to go for the 49ers defense against the Dolphins, but they've lowered the price to entice you if nothing else. And who knows how that game really turns out. That's one of the more interesting games of the day, I think. But I would expect that 49ers to struggle somewhat.
Yeah.
But still, it's almost hard to pass up at 3,100. So
what about the flip side? Dolphins defense.
Well, why not?
They're pretty cheap this week too. And of the defenses in that matchup, or I guess the offense that you're facing, I'm obviously less scared of the 49ers offense. They just put up 13 last week against the Saints.
Yeah, exactly. They've not quite figured it out. They got a ton of pieces though, that's for sure. I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring game. I'll put it in the 20s, maybe 27, 24, something like that. I don't see it low scoring.
A couple of tight ends that I'm looking at for value. Cole Kmet, mentioned him a couple times. Foster Moreau. Moreau's kind of stepping up as the tight end in Las Vegas. I like him a little bit there. If you want a touchdown dependent guy, Mike Gesicki. Super cheap. Might get you 2 points. Might get you 11. We'll see. We'll see how if they get to the red zone and Tyreek and Waddle, Wilson, they're all blanketed. That might leave a seam for Gesicki there. Looking down the list here too. Austin Hooper gets to go against Philadelphia this week. He had a couple of touchdowns a couple of weeks ago. He's super cheap. Another guy you could consider. So those are
I use Hayden Hurst
guys
in some of my leagues.
Okay. How about receiver? Obviously, top of the list, you got Jefferson, Tyreek, and Devontae. Those are the three most expensive guys. You scroll down a little bit. Anybody jump out to you? Brandon Ayuk is a name that I might look at this week.
Garrett Wilson, to me, I think he's at like 5,300.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
Probably stay with the Jets, Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore was speaking of footballs last week, man. That boy has been saved. That boy has been found by God.
Christian Watson's cheap again, still.
The
Right
talent
behind.
there on Elijah Moore is immense. I just hope they give him more targets. It was nice to see a little involvement from him, though.
Do we fire up our Jameson Williams this week? I think I saw he's active.
He is.
I traded for him a couple weeks ago, and I'm not rolling him out this week because I don't need him, but I would love to see him give me something to be excited about here in the playoffs.
What's his price tag? I'll be honest with you.
$4,700.
How much?
$4,700 on DraftKings.
That's good. It's, in all honesty, he deserves to be a little bit lower.
If Dan Campbell is the man that I think he is, the first play of the game, hard play action, Jameson Williams, double move, hit your head on the goalpost. That boy can fly.
Yep.
I would love to see it.
I love J-Mo at Alabama. Out of all of these good rookie receivers this year, I think he could be the best overall. That's how good he is. I expect him to, if he's active today, he will get snaps. I expect them to have some sort of showcase package for him.
Look forward to seeing that.
I think that's fair. They said he was going to play yesterday. And I don't know, I already done all my DFS work for the weekend, but pretty much. But yeah, I think that's a great price tag.
We'll wrap it up here quickly. Any value running backs or quarterbacks that we're looking at today, or maybe?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think at running back, you got to go with Zonovan Knight because of the volume he could get, and at quarterback, definitely don't mind Lawrence. He's a potential top 5 quarterback, and at his price tag's really good. Those are probably my primary guys that I would lean to for value.
A value guy that played really well last week gets a defense that's not great against quarterbacks. How are we feeling about Mike White this week against the Vikings?
Mike White's a great name. I've got him. I picked him up in Scott Fishbowl, and I think for the price tag, he definitely could be used. I'm giving a bump up with all Jets players, obviously.
Bro, they're walking around wearing Mike effing White shirts. Imagine if you were Zach Wilson. Would you just go hide in your room? Is like some 13 Reasons Why-ish on the table? Like, are you sending out tapes to people? Like, what are we doing here if you're Zach Wilson?
Not
got to be a tough life, but every
time
time he sees that paycheck roll in, I bet he doesn't mind.
You know what, Brian? You're a smart boy. You're a smart cookie. You're damn right.
There are our daily fantasy picks and analysis for the week. We'll take another break, and then Joe will tell us about the good start he's off to this weekend with his picks from the Sinister Six the other day, and we'll see what other fun stuff he's got cooked up here when we return on For Fantasy's Sake.
We may have a comparison to communism in one of our picks. So Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar in Rock Island. It's the place to be every Sunday this football season. Barbecue Chris will be in the house every week smoking the place up with his amazing menu or mouth-watering barbecues. Cavies will have every game on inside and outside their numerous TV screens. Plus, you can play their adult video games, and they have the loosest slots around. Check out Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island. In addition to bringing fire on the mic, the team at For Frequency's Sake is still bringing it online as well. Check out ForFantasySakeQC.com this season for college DFS, Survivor League, and betting advice each and every week of this football season. Again, that is ForFantasySakeQC.com for college DFS, Survivor League, and betting advice each week during the football season. For those that are still listening and watching live, we appreciate you. And, of course, we already got some comments in the chat for later for our listener questions. We'll have those, of course, in our final segment. I had to cut out that last commercial because it's irrelevant, Nick. That's why I threw that audible in there.
Okay, there we go.
Take it away, show host.
We are back with Joe's picks. So, take it away, right back.
I know. I handed it to you. We ran a little give and go. I threw it to you on the wing. Nice little back cut. You hit me with a nice little bounce pass.
You got to introduce the introducer.
Correct. All right. So here's where we're at today, folks. So last week we had a little Sinister Six stuff like on we kind of flashed. I'll go solo here. No, nothing against you guys, but so I feel more empowered when my shoulders are in the slot. When we can talk about this. So we have loaded the NFL slate. Shout out to our boy Nick, who joined us on the Sinister Six pod this week. We gave out some fire stuff. We had a couple of things last week. 2 weeks ago, we were awful. Let's just be real. But before that, we had 3 straight 4 in 2 weeks. So we're definitely picking up steam, and I feel really good about it. Yesterday, the only college bet we had was Kansas State plus 2.5. We rolled through that like a hot knife through butter. The only other thing we would have thought about taking was Georgia LSU under, because Georgia unders always hit, except for yesterday when Georgia almost hit the over by themselves. That game was weird. Anywho, we've got 5, count them, 5 and NFL bets today. We've also got some from Nick we'll sprinkle in afterwards when we, chop it up and whatnot. Let's start out in Cleveland for the Deshaun Watson Bowl. He's going to have, there's going to be a lot of excitement there today. Don't go, watch those local reporters doing their interviews to spite on his name or whatever for the people that are there to watch him. It's how they just cope or whatever. Even though people don't like him, he is, as Dabo Sweeney said, he is the Michael Jordan of football. We are laying the 7 with Cleveland today. We are riding high with Deshaun Watson. We are finger rolling over the goal line. We're going to lay those points happily for the Browns in Houston against the Texans. Real quick, 2 over-under plays that I really like, especially considering now, here's the thing. The number we got this at on Thursday, Nick, was it Thursday? Are you still there? I think you can hear me, right?
Yeah,
Nick?
what was that?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I'm an idiot. It was Wednesday. The number we got this at Wednesday, probably not able to get it at today because, Justin Fields is labeled as active. We got this number at 43.5. Nick, I don't know if you're able to pull up, the possibility of this number right now, but do you have it? Is it?
Yeah. Which game you talking? You're talking Browns?
No, Bears, Packers, that over.
Oh, 45.5 right now.
So it's still 45.5. I still think the over on that's good. I took it at 43.5. I think 45.5 is still a pretty good play. Because there's still some now 24-20 gets you home in my bet. 24-20 does not get you home today for that. 24-23, 27-24, those numbers get you home. I think 45.5 is still a pretty good number to take the over in that game. Chiefs Bengals, another game we are slamming the over on. I got it at 52.5 on Wednesday. It's still at 52.5 today. I think that's probably the right play. I expect points. I don't know what the opposite of points at a premium is, but it's going to be today. I think that game 31-28, 34-31. We're going to be living large in that one. That game is going to be exciting. So those are 2 over/under players. Here's a line. And here is, by the way, Browns is up to -7.5. It sucks that you don't have the push protection on that one, but that's something that we would still be willing to take. Detroit and Jacksonville. This is a numbers play. And honestly, it's 1.5 now. I took it at Detroit -1. It's at 1.5. It's a numbers play solely for this. If you actually believe in numbers, then I think this is something that you would be willing to grab because of the fact that in a game like this where the two teams are even, right? Usually the team at home is -3, -2.5. Lions are only -1.5 today. I got it at -1. I just the number play. It's the value play. Let's see what we got here on Knicks. Oh, so another one. We mentioned that there was a relation with communism today, and it's if you bet this game's under. It's gone down. People have bet the under. Terrorists, I tell you. How dare you? Chargers Raiders 49.5 is the over under. If you bet the under, you hate America because you hate fun. So bet the over. Enjoy watching those two teams just run across the goal line a lot. There's lots of ways this gets you home, especially with how bad these defenses have been. I believe the over is the smart play. This is stealing off of Nick's card. And yeah, man, if you willingly go out and bet the under in Chargers Raiders today, you just hate America. Right, Nick?
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Probably rooted against USA Soccer the other day.
Exactly. Yeah. How dare you? Anywho, moving on. Nick and I are both in agreement on this. I'm interested if he still likes it. It has moved down against us, but we are going to continue. We obviously took it at 5.5. Titans against the Eagles. Titans plus 5.5 is what Nick and I got it at. It's down to 4.5. I still think that's it's closer to what the line probably should be, but I feel like taking the points with the Titans. This is about massive area bounce back game for them after last week. Vrabel's going to have those boys pissed. They're going to run the ball right at Philly all game. Derrick Henry should have a huge bounce back. If Derrick Henry only has 33 yards again today, something went horrifically wrong. I think the Titans win outright. Honestly, if I had to pick, I feel like that's a good value play today. I think the Titans are going to win. But I think definitely, obviously, worst case, 20-17, 24-20 even gets you home here.
Thankfully, from 5.5 to 4.5, you don't lose the field goal.
Yeah,
it's not like 3.5 to 2.5 where it's a huge difference.
You're not crossing a key number, but yeah, no teasers or exotics or anything like that this week that we're big fans of. But yeah, those are the majorities. Nick also threw in under in Broncos Ravens. Because speaking of America, if you pick the over in that one, you're just what are you doing?
Over in a Broncos game in 2022.
No,
that's what it boils down to.
Watching them suck is fun. 38.5, I like that because 20-17, we're there. We're in there like swimwear. Which I mean, are the Ravens going to score more than 20 on the Broncos? Are the Broncos going to score more than 17 on a high school team? Probably not. And then the other one, Nick also had Washington minus 2.5 today, and then the Lions Jags over 51.5. That game. So many this slate. The last couple weeks have kind of been meh. Today is going to be awesome. We have been so due for just lit game after lit game after lit game. Even Justin Fields is playing today. That makes the 12 o'clock slate so much more exciting. But you got Packers-Bears, which with Fields, it'd be much more fun if Jordan Love was playing. But Fields is playing, and they're exciting when he plays. You've got Lions-Jags. That game's going to be there's no way on earth that game is not an acid trip. Because that's exactly what kind of both of those teams play LSD ball. Titans-Eagles is just going to be a war. There's so many. And then the late slate. Chargers-Raiders is the worst of the three big games at the late slate. I mean, we're not going to talk about Seahawks-Rams because that game just is not fun. The Rams are Schindler's List NFL team this year. But Chargers out of a 3-game slate, Chargers-Raiders is the worst. That's telling you something because then you got Niners, Dolphins, and Bengals, Chiefs. What a day. So good to be us. That's for sure.
I like it. Is that what you got? Is that it?
Yeah, that's the old picks. We covered a lot of bases there. I even covered your bases. Now, granted, we did agree on most of those, or not most, but a good amount. And yeah, that looks like a goal, good old between the two of us 9-3 today, hopefully, or I guess.
I think it was 10,
8-3,
total, wasn't it? Yeah. let's just shoot for 10-0. You know, let's parlay them together and make millions.
Bird cage it. Yeah.
All right, so that's Joe's picks. Now we'll see if there are some prop bets we like. And touchdown bets, I love looking at anytime touchdown scorers. And then I dabble in some first touchdown scorers when there's a promo attached, like BetMGM on Thursday nights and Monday nights. But it's a Sunday, so we don't get that luxury today. We're looking at anytime touchdown scorers. And I'm looking at A.J. Brown against the Titans. I just think they want to get him the ball in the red zone, especially against the Titans. And it's A.J. Brown. Does a nice job scoring touchdowns on any given week anyway. He's at plus 125 on DraftKings. And if you go to the PicksWise Twitter, you can get a plus 100 boost on that. So you can get any touchdown scorer in plus money boosted 100 more. So you can get somebody like A.J. Brown at plus 225. You can get someone like Justin Jefferson plus money up to plus 205. Jefferson is probably going to be a very popular pick today at plus money. I hesitate to bet against that Jets defense, especially when you got Saucy on the other side. So
the one thing with that,
I like it though, but I'm not taking it personally.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner's not going to probably hunt. People are going to, when you break down the analytics of it, the Sauce is if there's no way he's going to get more than like 3 or 4 one-on-ones with him because he's going to line up a lot in the slot. They don't travel Sauce around the field just because like they have good corners all the way. DJ, our fearless leader, Hayden Hurst, anytime touchdown is his. That's what he's rolled out. Little bull in action. So good on him there. That's an interesting one. Hayden Hurst has mighty fine hair. I will admit that. So a couple weeks ago, Nick, we nailed this. We nailed this quarterback scoring parlay for like plus 900, and it was a horrendous week. I was pissed because like the Bears were losing when the game I wanted them to win. Illinois was playing basketball, so I wasn't really locked in like that. And we hit it like in the gun. We hit it with Jalen Hurts scoring late. Justin Fields had his, and I think the other was Lamar Jackson, all anytime touchdowns, and that cashed. Any fancy schmancy touchdown parlay we should put together. While you do that, I'm going to try to see if there's any wouldn't it be hilarious parlay candidates today.
I also like to mess with same game parlays on DraftKings when they give us the stepped up bonus. And a lot of times they'll give you like one risk-free one per week. This is not risk-free today, but a couple of weeks ago, it was, I guess that was last week. No, the week before Thanksgiving, I hit one on Packers Titans and then also on Bears Falcons. So to me, Packers Bears seems like a natural spot for me to want to try again. And I typically anchor them with 2 touchdown scorers, and then I layer in a bunch of things that are like super common to hit, like just 1 sack for each defense and things like that, just to get it to 10 legs to double your percentage or whatever. But I'm looking at Watson and Fields. Just those 2 alone, you can get to plus 550. And so I'll probably look to add 8 more very winnable legs and see what happens and throw, $5-10 on it, see what happens. But it worked 2 weeks ago, hit a couple that were about plus 2,000. So that's where I'm looking today. I like Watson and Fields at their current odds. Watson's odds continue to come down each week, though. I feel like they're starting to get smarter.
The market's catching up.
He's going to be scoring. I think he's under plus 200 now. So the few times that I've had him, he's been closer to plus 300. Looking at some running back props here. Chubb 97.5. I don't know. I feel like I'd be leaning on the under there just because they want to put the ball in Watson's hands a little more. Pierce 69.5 against that defense. That might be a spot. I've kind of been my theme today is just pump up Dameon Pierce and will him into existence.
Pump it up.
Man, I don't know. That's pretty steep. And if he's got 16 yards in the last 2 weeks and his line is at 70, maybe that's a good spot to take the under. You know,
What
you can get either way.
what's Kenneth Walker at today?
Kenneth Walker. Let's scroll down the list here. Where are the Rams? Okay, 74.5. What do you like there?
I'm gonna go over, but I really like the anytime touchdown there.
And is Williams the top back in that Rams offense now?
That's an
Or
off.
is he splitting with Akers yet?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, last week Akers played quite a bit, right?
Okay. I see Kyron Williams at 31.5 for his over under. I was gonna say if there's no Akers there, that seems like a good spot.
Still seems good. I mean, 32 yards with no passing game.
Yeah. That might be one I consider here in a little bit. But other touchdown scorers, let me see. Let's see if there's anyone else here that looks like fun. TJ Hawkinson plus 195. Our favorite touchdown line or goal line vulture from last week, Kenneth Gainwell, plus 400 for the Eagles. Would have been a very handsome payout on a first touchdown last week against the Packers. On was that Sunday Night Football, I think? Yeah. Let's see. Just scrolling to see if any of these guys jump out at me. Cole Kmet plus 245. Randall Cobb plus 350. They fed him a lot last week, it felt like.
Dobbs is
Targeted him in the end zone once, too. Is Dobbs back today?
No, he got declared out.
Okay. So that's good if you want to take a Cobb at plus 350.
Corn on the cob.
Heck yeah, that was my fantasy name at least one time at one point, probably 8 years ago.
I put together a wouldn't it be hilarious parlay.
All right, let's give you the floor here.
Okay. Not much action today that would be too funny. I mean, you have a couple, like, I guess Broncos, Ravens, if the Broncos somehow won, that'd kind of be funny, but just to see if Lamar would, like, go off on some kid on Twitter again. Poor guy. The only real candidate today, listen, I know because people hate him. The obvious wouldn't it be hilarious parlay candidate is the Texans beating the Browns. But no, I'm not giving myself that bad juju. First off, I'm not betting against Deshaun, okay? I'm not betting again. We're not gonna willingly tell you to bet on the Texans. Well, we're just smart. And me and Nick are both laying the vig here with the Browns. We're not gonna hedge that and be like, oh, that'd be funny. No. We're not about that bad juju. The only other obvious candidate today would be like the Colts beating the Texans or the Cowboys because Jeff Saturday beating the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. That'd be funny, but it's too easy. So we're going to tomorrow night down in old Tampa Bay where it'd be really funny if, Tom Brady and the Bucs continued to suck. And, we're going to start getting sooner and sooner to hearing old rumors of, Tom. So you do think going back to New England or something like that, that's on the table, right? All these weird rumors are just going to start dropping. Oh, he only left New England because his wife didn't want to be there anymore. How convenient. Funny things. Well, what would push that? If the Bucs lose tomorrow. So here's what we got. The Saints money line. Alvin Kamara over 47.5 rushing yards because something has to go over here. But outside of that, we're getting weird. Low scoring, under totals and points. Alternate line, under 30.5. Both team total unders. Bucks under 22.5, Saints under 18.5. All of those things. So what gets us home here? A Saints win 17-14 would not get us home, would it? It would not. 17-10. 16-13 would get us home. Under 30.5. 14-10. 14-13. Ugly game. Remember, not last year. Was it last year? Yes, it was last year. In Tampa. Not what was it? 9-6 with Taysom Hill starting. The Saints find weird games against these guys, and the first game was ugly until Jameis just gave the Bucs like 3 straight drives where he threw a pick, and one of them got returned. So that's the wouldn't it be hilarious parlay of the week. Saints money line, Alvin Kamara over 47.5 rushing yards, because something for the Saints has to hit to kind of line this up. And then all under. So ugly game, low scoring, Saints win. Under 30.5 alternate line, under 22.5 Bucks total, under 18.5 Bucks Saints total, plus 2409. $10 wins you 240.90. Pretty good. That's our wouldn't it be hilarious parlay this week. We are nailing it. We are going to be back on the saddle. Like, you could lose all your bets this week and hit that. We are firing the old money gun machine at the club, if you know what I'm saying. We're getting bottle service. We hit that bad boy.
All right. That might be what we've got for prop bets this week. If we want to jump into some listener questions a little early. And I think I've seen, it might be DJ working behind the scenes, throwing some into our Google Doc here. And we've had a few questions sprinkled in throughout the show. So we could start with, I guess let's go to our cousin Bo. And who should I start at quarterback? Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, or Mike White? And what world is this that we're even considering Mike White in the same conversation as Aaron Rodgers?
Well, they're playing the Vikings, so that's why, probably. The Vikings defense is a little sus. A little sus, you know what I'm saying? Rodgers, I think Mike White. He's the one no, Rodgers, damn, the Bears defense. Yeah, it's Rodgers. I'm lying. It's Rodgers. The Bears defense. That game's going to be a light show today. First team to 40 wins.
And I think the thing with Rodgers, as you mentioned earlier, if he takes a big hit, he's right on the edge of Jordan Love coming back in too.
That is true.
But I'm sure they will probably try to scheme the offense around quick passes. Do not sit in the pocket for any period of time. But I don't know. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to improvise. He's going to audible at the line of scrimmage, and it's going to lead to a sack or something. But
I feel like it's Rodgers. He's got one more game in him.
Yeah. Well, he probably wanted this one. Like, guys, I'll let Jordan have this, but this is my final moment. He needs to tell Chicago fans how much he owns us while they're going to be 5-8, and the Bears draft Jalen Carter, and the Packers suck for the next 7 years.
And the Packers are on bye next week, which I think after that would be Love. So,
by the way, just in case anyone's curious, if I look all of a sudden angry here in the next 10 minutes, it's because I found out Alabama got put in the college football playoff.
Oh no, who'd they knock out?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm just saying if that happens.
Oh, okay. Is that supposed to come out here in a little bit?
The selection show just started.
Oh boy. So well, let's get ahead of this, because that's one of our rapid fire questions for later.
Mm-hmm.
Let's sprinkle this in here right now. Who should be the Final Four? And if it's not Michigan, let's see here: Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. If it's not those four, who should get in?
If the world worked in the right ways, the same Final Four that went into this weekend would still be the four, or Clemson would be 4, and you just pull out USC. Like, listen, I understand. In a normal world, the punished for conference championship things wouldn't matter because it would all play itself out. But this is a rare world, like year, where there's actual parity. There's a lot of different teams. I mean, this would be a fantastic year for the 12-team playoff. But I just don't think if a team that shouldn't win, especially in a year like this, a team that didn't win their division, didn't even play didn't play in a conference title game, shouldn't get in. So if all was right with the world, the Final Four should be Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, and then it should still be USC 4. But if you want to actually have an argument for it, it'd be Clemson at 4 because they won their league. But it's going to be Ohio State at 4. If Bama gets in over TCU, the sport's tainted forever. Like, We're just rewarding team. Like basically, here's what like Ohio State got killed by Michigan by 21, 22 at home. They got ragdolled, and they're going to be rewarded a playoff berth because they basically got a free bye week. It's just stupid. It's just so dumb.
You could make an argument for an 8-12 team playoff, but you could also say that there aren't even 4 good teams out there this year.
It's why 4 teams has always been wrong. Like I never understood it that like I always said 4 teams was right, but then you actually have years like this, and I think this is going to be how it goes going forward with all these other programs figuring it out. Like Michigan's up there now, USC with Lincoln Riley, and the NIL spread now. Texas is going to be like around for a while. You have all of these programs that are kind of jumping up there. Expansion's the right way, man. I was against it for so long, but now, like in a year like this, 2 is better than 4, but also 6 is better, 8 is better, 12 is better. You wouldn't have like the conference championship games. Yeah, like some of these, both teams that would have played each other would have still got in, but it would have been important because you would have had a bye on the line. You had a potential hosting a game like those. And when the 12-team playoff comes out, those first round games between the 6 through 12 seeds, the 5 through 12 seeds, they're going to be played on home. They're going to be played on campus. So like all those games are going to matter even more. Hopefully they get it right. Like if Ohio State got in, it's not the worst thing in the world because I get it. But if Alabama gets in, man, over TCU, if TCU gets left out, that's just
communism.
It's worse. It's so bad, man. I know that was a joke, but like it'd be so bad for the sport because it'd be telling you we do not give it. We like games don't matter. They just don't matter. All that matters is your brand and your 5-star. Like how many 5 stars you have and Vegas odds. Like the fact that Saban, I could go on an hour rant. The fact that Saban went on live television yesterday and literally said, if we went against these teams, who'd be the underdog in Vegas? It wouldn't be us. Like, shut up, dude. If that's the case, you're literally telling us the games don't matter. Why play the games? Hey, guess what? Texas A&M had 45 stars this year. Let's put them in. Oh, no, they only won 5 games. It's like the games matter or something. Sorry, let's move on.
Okay. Back to our listener questions this week. Brandon Ayuk or Debo, who would be a better start in a touchdown-heavy league?
I'm going to go with Ayuk because Debo's kind of been on the injury report this week.
Yeah, it seems like Ayuk is getting more of the touchdown love too, right? I mean, against the Cardinals, he had, 2 touchdown catches on 2 catches in total?
Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry, I gotta lower the blood pressure here after that. I knew I was going to let loose, but okay.
Yeah, I'm leaning Ayuk as well. But I guess if Debo, if they say he's 100%, then I guess that throws a wrinkle in. But I know the league I have him in, he's been questionable all week and stuff. So I don't know the latest there. We'll find out a little bit later.
I think he'll play, but you know how that goes. If he's been on the injury report, he's had something wrong with him. So
yeah. So I think Ayuk's the one.
Non-PPR, do we like ETN or Antonio Gibson?
ETN because Gibson's been on the injury report as well. So
yeah, and I think last week when ETN went out, that was more of a precaution, right? Not a serious foot injury.
Yeah, he'll be fine today.
Okay, yeah, and ETN isn't necessarily part of a timeshare like Gibson is, so that seems like a fairly easy one for Bo. Hopefully that comes through for him. We've got some others.
Real quick, breaking. It's insert name agrees with Brian. We all agree with Brian. ETN. Sorry, I had to find that because the fact that it's on here and it's funny. No, ETN's the play over Gibson. Gibson's been good, but also Brian Robinson has been killing it. Shout out to B Rob. But yeah, ETN I think is the play. Though, how healthy is he going to be? He did leave last week. Has there been any worry about him playing?
ETN, no, he'll play.
Okay. I figured I haven't seen anything where he wasn't active. I'm just saying, like, that is something that you could think about. You know, he did leave last week's game with an injury. But, yeah. Okay. So I
Yeah.
just want to throw that out there.
Who should I start at the flex? It's half PPR, and we've got 4 to choose from here. 2 running backs, 2 receivers. Alvin Kamara against the Bucks. Rashad White against the Saints. Same matchup there. Christian Watson at the Bears. Joshua Palmer at the Raiders. Kamara, White, Watson, Palmer. Who do we like at flex?
How many do we pick?
I'm assuming 1. If they didn't
Rashad White.
specify, but let's rank them. We'll rank a 1 and a 2 just in case.
Rashad White, Christian Watson.
I'm going to say Christian Watson. I want to say Kamara just because I have him in the league. But I guess Kamara because I don't trust the Rashad White stuff. I'm going to probably put Palmer over him. And I think, and this isn't to drag. I mean, I respect Brian's opinion on this, obviously. But I just don't trust the Bucks. Their play calling is horrific. I'm not going to trust a running back on the Bucks. And I even hate Josh Palmer, but Palmer's had some good numbers lately. So I'd probably put him over White. So I think Watson's probably, though. I think Watson's going to have a day today. The Bears are starting like none of their starting DBs. And they're, now their DBs is the best unit of their defense, but all of them are out. So Christian Watson's going to go nuts.
So, yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Watson's probably the top guy that we're thinking there. And it's unfortunate because I have Kamara too, and I wish that he wasn't in a conversation to leave out of even a flex spot at this point in the season. But you just can't trust him right now. And against the Bucs defense, I don't like the matchup there either.
No.
Hopefully it works out for him, though, for if you do have him, like Joe and me. Full PPR. We need a running back here. DeAndre Swift, Raheem Mostert, or Brian Robinson.
Oh, God, that's Brian
here.
Robinson. Without a
We got
question.
a timeshare, and a timeshare. Which one do we like? Which one do we like best?
Brian Robinson, not even close.
Yeah, because Swift doesn't get the touchdowns. Mostert hurt a little last week. That's more of a 50-50 role. It's like a hot hand, whatever. Both of them are really good. But no, Brian Robinson definitely is the one you trust the most, and he's going to get the goal line touches. So I think, out of those 3, Brian Robinson.
Quarterbacks, Watson or Geno? Are you rolling Watson out over Geno this week? That might be for TJ.
Yeah, Brian said this. I think it's the right thing. Like Geno this week, as much as I love Deshaun, just because it's early. If you have a guy like Geno, you can afford, and you also have Watson, and you're feeling frisky, you can afford to not have to worry about having to play Watson. If you have a guy like Geno, he's one of the few. He's probably one of the 8 guys that if you have him, you're like, maybe not. Especially against the Rams today. Though that game, I don't know, man. That's got weird vibes. Are the Seahawks starting to fall apart? We'll see. Scared for the Hawks today.
The other thing that gets me to go Geno is that Aaron Donald's out. So
true. That is true. That's why Ken Walker today probably has a big game.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't force Watson if you don't have to, is basically what I'm hearing.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, though, like I said, if you don't have to. But if you're in a spot where you're like, hey, why not? Then let it rip.
He might give you a higher ceiling if you're in a situation where points will play a part of tiebreakers next week. He might, if you think, I need 30 points, Watson might be more likely to get you there than Geno. I don't know.
That's my thought philosophy as well. I mean, if you're in a must-win situation, you go with Geno.
Okay. How about this is actually a question submitted by Ron Rivera, I think. Robinson or Gibson?
Robinson.
Okay, so an easy one there. Fournette or Jamison Williams in his debut?
Ooh. Give me J-Mo, baby. We're riding it. J-Mo, the Electric Factory. That game is going to be an acid trip today. I cannot wait. And again, you just can't trust Bucks for running backs, man. You just can't. They're so that whole situation is so inept. I know I had been on here saying, "Don't be shocked if the Bucks make the Super Bowl." Hedging that bet. Let's just say that they are disgusting. I want to puke every week when I watch them.
On that last question, if anybody's got a two-headed nickel, go ahead and flip it. Honestly, I don't know. I guess Jameson Williams, because why not?
I got one for y'all, Nick. I'll let you answer this real quick.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah, I got you.
I was gonna say, who do you got between Fournette and Williams? Before I got one for you guys. Do you have, Nick? Did you choose this?
Oh man, I'll flip the coin and land on Jameson today.
Attaboy. Pick Jameson. He's fun. Leonard, crude oil legs. Okay. Pick 2 receivers and a flex. T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, Amari, Christian Watson, and Alvin Kamara.
Well, I'm sitting Alvin Kamara out of that group for sure.
That's what I think.
Sit one more. I guess Watson.
Yeah, right now I have Higgins, Kirk, and Cooper in my lineup. Watson's kind of there. Like, this is the league where I got a sneaky draft pick. Oh, thank God.
The
Bama didn't get in.
Oh, did they lock in
TCU
and Ohio State, or do we not know yet?
Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State is the Final Four. And they actually got the matchups right. They kept TCU at 3. They put Ohio State in at 4. Oh, thank God.
That's what been, so yeah.
All is right in the world.
Yeah, because if they would have put Ohio State at 3, that would have been kind of screwing Michigan. Being like, hey, you just beat them, but you have to play them again. That would have been bad. So they got it right, man. Thank the Lord. So that's my thought process. Like, so in this league, I sniped Ramondre Stevenson in like the 11th or like the 9th round, 10th round. And then I just snared Watson off of waivers like a couple weeks ago. So he's been kind of just I'm waiting to pounce and actually play him more. But I've also got, like I said, I'm loaded at receiver with Kirk and Higgins and Cooper, and I've got Kamara like as a possibility. So yeah, I think Kamara's the right set today, and I think Cooper could have a big day. So I that's who you guys said. Higgins, Kirk, and Cooper. That was validation.
The sad thing is we've gotten to a world where the only no-brainer was Kamara.
On the other side, on the wrong side.
On the sit side, he's the only no-brainer.
Yeah, that game tomorrow is going to be fun to watch if you're a sicko like me. This guy, sicko. But it's going to be horrendous to watch if you're a normie.
Unfortunately, I have Kamara, and I guess I'll ask you guys. I'm looking at it right now. I've got Kamara, Pierce starting right now, but would you replace him? Would you replace either of them with Cordero Patterson?
No.
No, that's going to be a weird game. And the Steelers' defense has been good. I think the Steelers are the Steelers have been beneficiaries from the last few weeks of like getting some good matchups. Like the Colts, I would have taken if I would have done the Sinister Six last week, if I wouldn't have been more sick than a dead person. The Steelers plus the points would have been like that would have been a layup pick. And this week, fringes, I don't know. If that game was in Pittsburgh, I probably would have them on there. But the fact that it's in Atlanta, I just can't get a read on that game. But Pickett's been playing well and stuff. But when you look at defensively, their defense should play pretty well. I think that's going to be a kind of an ugly mucked game. Wouldn't want to test it. Wouldn't want to chance it.
There are very few defensive players that make such a huge difference than Watt. That's just amazing to me.
Yeah,
all right.
He's really good.
We're coming down the home stretch here. I think that'll do it for our listener questions.
Did we run through the rapid fire, or are we going to run through the?
Yeah, we'll do that right now.
Okay.
Bears Packers tied in all-time wins. Who takes the lead today? I'm taking Packers.
Okay, so here's my reasoning. The Bears are going to win today because that's unfortunately their luck, because they're going to win and go from the 2nd pick to like the 10th pick, which will suck, but it'll also be fun because they'll still lose out and they'll still get a top 5 pick. But they're winning today.
I'm going to the Packers just because Rodgers has one more game left in him.
True.
Much I don't like him.
So. That is fair.
All right, Texans or Browns? The NFL Lineal Championship is on the line, and I'm guessing this is the thing that DJ talked about like 3 months ago, where the champion gets beat week 1 or something like that. Is that this deal?
Something
And
like
it
that.
continues
Basic.
to go,
Yeah, it keeps going.
continues to go along.
I think the Bucks had it. So the Browns now have it. Browns are winning today, man. Browns are blowing the doors off the Texans by 50.
Yeah, if that's what we're asking, I'm taking the Browns.
Yeah, basically, who you taking there? College football's top 4. We've already talked a little bit about that, but
They got it right. I can't believe it. They got it right. Breaking news. They don't suck at their jobs.
Alabama is out.
The only thing we care about is the final 2. And do you really see anybody besides Georgia and Michigan winning?
That TCU could that. I will say this: as much as I kind of ragdolled Ohio State, they're going to give Georgia some fits, and TCU's good, man. That TCU Michigan game is going to be fun. So if we somehow got like TCU Ohio State, I wouldn't be shocked. Those lines are going to be pretty. They're going to be like those lines will probably both be under 10, and I would probably take both teams plus the points.
We'll combine this one. Best team in the AFC and the NFC 12 weeks in.
Right
Top
now,
each conference, yeah.
Right now it's Chiefs Niners. Right now. Well, okay, I lied. Chiefs Eagles. I lied. Eagles have clearly been the best team in the NFC. My bad. I guess if it was a team that you would pick to go to the Super Bowl, like who you trust, I would say Chiefs Niners. But the Eagles obviously are the best team in the NFC right now. And the Chiefs I think they're the best team in the league.
Yeah, I'm there, Chiefs Eagles as well.
Now, what happens if the Titans win today and the 49ers
beat the Dolphins?
In very convincing fashion.
If the Niners blow the Dolphins out, the Niners might be number 2 on the Elite Eights Monday. Because that'd be damn impressive.
Some people will throw out the Vikings, but I don't think you can trust Kirk Cousins. So.
They're 9-2 with like a +5 point differential.
Yeah. Thanks to winning by 6 or whatever it was last week.
Yep. Bingo.
All right. Lastly, is your Christmas tree up?
Yeah. Yes. I'm actually very proud. I'm staying with my mom, who's 87 and got Alzheimer's. Well, we spent much of the week with her. And my dad passed of Alzheimer's in January 2018. And so for the first time since 2018, we put up a Christmas tree. So.
Well, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Danny, I don't know if Danny and I are going to put one up here, but we do not have one up here. But I helped my girlfriend put one up at her place like Wednesday. No, Thursday? Tuesday. I get my days messed up. Tuesday, we put hers up. So
our Christmas tree has been up for 2 weeks, and the Christmas lights on the roof have been up for 2 weeks as well because it was like 55 degrees, and I was going to take advantage of it. Even when there was still snow on my roof and I was crawling around in the snow, but I wanted to take advantage of the weather. Yes, it is up here.
There you go. Not a bowl.
All right, boys. Any last thoughts before we go out and kick some tail this week in our leagues, and hope all of our listeners and viewers do the same?
Well, real quick before I let Brian, tell everybody good things. I'll do Chris's role. We appreciate everybody that watches us and listens to us on all of our shows and all of our platforms. We've done some experimental stuff with my show the last few weeks with some live stuff, which has been fun, and exciting. Last Monday we did the thank God we're not sick anymore show, and that did really well. So that was cool. Anybody that pays attention to any of our content on a weekly basis, we really appreciate you all. Our thanks to our sponsors, of course, Clints, Cabbies, Corner Tab, all those guys that help us out and show our support. I know DJ and Doug and those guys were out yesterday, and they had from everything I heard, they had a great turnout and a blast doing the Toys for Tots thing yesterday. So thanks to anybody who went to that and helped out. I know that's something DJ really likes and appreciates, and that's something that means a lot to him. And I wish I could have been there. Just was a little, needed the day to myself yesterday. So, but thanks to everybody who was a part of that and who is a part of these shows on a weekly basis, man. We really appreciate it, and this is a blast.
Doug and DJ, we kept it on the rails today too.
Yeah, we did. We don't need them.
All I can say is go out and support those local establishments. They living in Tennessee, they all sound like great fun. I wish I was a little closer to Iowa. So definitely go out and do that and have a great week with all your games.
All right. Well, for Joe and Brian, I'm Nick. Thanks so much for listening and watching today, and go Dolphins.
Yes, sir. Go Dolphins, baby.
Thanks for watching.
See you guys.